On the news at 7, Governor Akeredolu welcomes release of kidnapped expatriate construction worker in Owo. Ondo Assembly confirms appointment of Amidu Takuro as commissioner. Federal government secures conviction of over 1,000 terrorists in 14 months. And from the foreign scene, U.S. Secretary of State visits Kigali to ease tensions between Rwanda and neighboring DR Congo. Good evening and welcome to the news at 7. I am Akinwumi Abodunde. Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has expressed relief at the news of the release of a kidnapped expatriate with the Cranberg Construction Company in Owo. Governor Akeredolu described the safe return of the expatriate as delightful. The governor, in a statement by his chief press secretary, Richard Olatunde, also rejoiced with officials of the company who had been under tremendous emotional stress since the attack. Akeredolu also reaffirmed his administration's commitment to beefing up security at construction sites in the state and tackling insecurity with vigor. He appreciated all security agencies in the state for the selfless efforts they had taken to ensure that the victim returned unharmed. Meanwhile, 2 more suspects linked to the attack on St. Francis Catholic Church Owo have been arrested. In a statement by the Director of Defense Information, Jimmy Akpo, the suspects were apprehended in Osrc local government or area of the state yesterday. The Ondo State House of Assembly has confirmed the appointment of Mr. Amidu Takuro as State Commissioner. His confirmation followed a request from the Executive and the report of the Selection Committee presented at the floor of the House by the Deputy Speaker and Vice Chairman of the Selection Committee, Samuel Aderoboye. Presenting the report, Aderoboye said that the nominee had the required experience and qualification to function effectively in that capacity. The Speaker, Bamidele Oleyelogun, upon the unanimous decision of the House, ruled for the confirmation. The Commissioner-designate, Mr. Takuro, promised to always have a robust relationship with the House of Assembly. He also thanked Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu for the confidence reposed in him and pledged his commitment to the development of the state. Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu says the current agitations for religious considerations in political representation in Nigeria are anchored on lack of full understanding of the requirements for leadership that facilitates real development. Governor Akeredolu said the clamor for restructuring of the polity and agitation for power shift must gain prominence over the debate on representation based on religion. The governor made the observations while delivering a lecture titled Nigeria, the Politics of Religion in a Transitional Society at the International Conference Center, University of Ibadan in Oyo State. Government House correspondent Wahab Bankole completes the story.
The chairman of the Southwest Governors Forum and governor of Ondo State, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, led other eminent personalities to the International Conference Center, University of Ibadan in Oyo State for the first memorial lecture in honor of Professor Bankole Oke. Governor Akeredolu, while delivering the lecture titled Nigeria, the Politics of Religion in a Transitional Society, said the incursion of religion into the political arena of the country portends danger for the polity ahead of the 2023 general election. The governor stressed that the solution to the challenges faced in the country will not be found in religion.
This is a great nation. This country is a great nation. All we need is a leadership that will turn things around. That is all we need. One person comes up and that will be the end. We will forget about this. If not we, our children will not know about these problems we are facing. It borders to me on plain mischief to set the people on themselves to attain political power. That is what the politicians want to do now. They want to set us against ourselves, so all they want is just power.
Akeredolu pointed out that the public space must remain secular, noting that the current agitations for a faith-based political representation are anchored on certain misinterpretation of the requirements for leadership. According to him, the incursion of religious agitation will only set the people against themselves. The governor said any religious leader who ignores knowledge and competence for measuring leadership capacity is an apostate.
We know that this nation is made of so many ethnic groups. All of us know. And when you have that in any country, there must be continuous interrogation. That's why some of us say to people who say that Nigeria is non-negotiable, that they are wrong. You tell us that we'll continue this way, you are totally wrong. We must interrogate our existence, our agreements. What we had yesterday might not fit for tomorrow. We must sit down to talk. That's why some of us today are right in the forefront on restructuring. This nation must be restructured, whether they like it or not.
Akeredolu described the controversy surrounding the Muslim ticket of the All Progressives Congress (APC) for the 2023 general elections as most regrettable. The governor, who advised Nigerians to stop the dangerous divisive faith-based campaign, noted that any war fought to establish the supremacy of a faith over others can only end in tears. From Ibadan, Wahab Bankole, Osrc News.
10 more business outfits have been sealed up in Akure, the Ondo State capital, and Idore, for defaulting in the payment of land use charge. The exercise was carried out by the enforcement team of Ondo State Internal Revenue Service, ODIRS. Omorenda Ungbeji reports that a popular shopping complex with more than 50 lock-up shops was among the outfits sealed up for not paying into the coffers of the government for 6 years.
Among the outfits sealed up were Chefma Investment Limited Filling Station, Bola Joko Fashion Hub in Akure, as well as Oreofeoluwa Clinic and Alhaji Sikirat Sawmill in Idore. Prior to the action, the buildings were served with due for sale notification to avoid embarrassment. It was not a good moment for the occupants of the properties who complained about the attendant effect of the closure on their businesses.
We don't owe them money. We used to pay our tax. We pay for everything concerning us on this shop. So we don't owe landlord. It's our landlord that at fault of this what is going on now.
Assistant Director, State Council of ODIRS, Gregory Afuwakwe, who led the enforcement team, confirmed that the affected buildings had not been faithful in the payment of their land use charges, despite various notifications. According to him, the team acted on a court order of May 9, 2022, which instructed that defaulted places be sealed up and subsequently taken over by government if the liability stretched over 135 days without payment.
We served the judgment, and up to today, they did not come around even to pay the land use charge. That's why we were here. We have people around moving about, like task force from governor's office, from our office, who will be coming around this place. Anyone found around this place will definitely be arrested and will be charged.
He urged the affected ones to visit the head office of the agency in Akure for necessary action. Omoriola Hungbeji, Osrc News.
The Nigeria Labour Congress in Ondo State has threatened to seal off the Akure branch office of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria over its failure to disburse funds to its members under the Home Renovation Fund scheme. The union decried the non-payment of the loan by the bank under the Home Renovation Fund in the last 16 months, despite the deduction of 2% of workers' salary. State Secretary of the NLC, Shado Omokainde, who led workers to the bank's premises at Okeida in Akure, said the Congress signed a memorandum of understanding with the bank and Ondo State government in January 2022 as part of measures to avail workers in the state the opportunity to be homeowners. Omokainde noted that the bank, in an undertaking signed during the visit, committed to continue the disbursement of funds to workers under the Home Renovation Fund by the end of August, and failure to do so, the NLC will implement its plans to lock up the branch.
Before now, but it crashed along the way, and when the bank became reinvigorated with new board members and with the promise that they are bringing standard into the operations of the bank, we believed them. We signed the undertaking in the office of the head of service on the 21st of January 2020, and we began to contribute 2% of our salary into the scheme. And there are many products. We have the outright mortgage, where they build workers who has the length of time by service now can buy their buildings, and the repayment span between from 10, 15, 20, 30 years. And then there is what we call the Home Renovation Fund, and that is NHF. Under these arrangements, workers who has the capacity here means their net pay, going by our financial regulation, can still afford the deduction of the sum, and the max for the Home Renovation Fund is 1 million naira. And we keyed into it in a nutshell, and up till March 2021 there were disbursements, but since March 2021 they stopped disbursing to Ondo State. We made several entities to them. We wrote severally to them. Our last letter was on the 20th of June 2022, and there was no response from the national headquarters. From there, we got a commitment from the manager of Akure branch of FMBN. A letter of undertaking was given to us before we left the place, that before the next salary payment, disbursement will resume.
The NLC Secretary assured workers that the union's leadership will bring the benefits of the Home Renovation Fund to them. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami says state governors have no basis for complaining about Paris Club refund deductions paid to consultants they hired. Malami said the governors took steps to pay the consultants and later decided to stop payment while asking for an out-of-court settlement when the matter was dragged to court. This, according to him, resulted in a request to President Muhammadu Buhari to make the payment, which was then passed on to the office of the AGF for a legal opinion. Malami said the implication is that the governors, in their own right, recognized the consultant, recognized their claim, and presented the claim to the federal government. You're watching the news at 7 on OSRC television. You can also watch us live on our website, www.osrc.ng, or follow us on Facebook, OSRC TV Ondo, and on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel, OSRC TV Ondo. The news continues shortly. Stay with us. It's still the news at 7 on OSRC television. Thank you for staying with us. Wife of Ondo State Governor, Chief Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu, has intensified efforts to strengthen the relationship between her office and the Federal University of Technology, Akure. The governor's wife, during a visit to the Vice Chancellor of the institution, Professor Adenike Oladiji, applauded the institution's partnership with the BIMO initiative. The strength of Nigeria's legal tender, the Naira, has become worrisome to Nigerians, with the purchasing power in the local market taking a hit. This, according to economic watchers, is as a result of the country's overdependence on imported goods, reflecting on the foreign exchange market. Osrc's Zahid Aribisala reports that economists have canvassed full exploration of the country's non-oil sector to boost its export potentials.
The power of the Naira is falling. The standard of living is too high.
The Naira, Nigeria's legal tender, is losing its power in the local market, creating considerable uncertainty and unpredictability in the economy. This is evident in the 18.6% inflation rate released by the National Bureau of Statistics for the month of June, the highest in over 5 years. The situation, according to economists, is one of the offshoots of realities in the foreign exchange market.
We are in the rainy season. I think farm products should be relatively cheap now. But when you get to the market, the reverse is the case. Because most of the things, the Naira is getting to a situation where it needs an urgent attention. Central bank monetary policy, if it's properly managed, maybe they can be able to salvage the Naira from further crashing.
The Naira is weakened against the US dollar, with the parallel market sale hovering around 600 Naira.
The inflation is continuing consistently, and if things is going like that, it's going to affect all our economy.
It has no value because all things that we're supposed to buy in our country, they are import everything from outside. So that is the reason that our Naira is have no value.
At the heart of what has been referred to as a crisis, management consultant said Nigeria's over-reliance on imported goods will continue to pressure its currency.
Nigeria is not earning enough foreign exchange to meet the demands of imports. So, when you look at the exchange rate, you are actually measuring supply on one hand and demand on the other hand.
Adelego noted that a change in policy and full exploration of Nigeria's export potential must be activated.
The low exchange rate is not always bad news. If Nigeria were to be a manufacturing country where we produce, okay, and then the raw materials are sourced from within, I am telling you it would be fantastic. See, even the things that we say we produce here have a lot of foreign additions.
The Central Bank of Nigeria had last month intensified efforts to stop the Naira from spiraling further by moving to curtail what it describes as market speculations. It shifted focus on the parallel market and the general market, which it believes to be responsible, by involving the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in the fight. The result of that collaboration was the raid on Bureau de Change office in Lagos and Abuja. The sharp depreciation of the Naira exchange rate remains a cause for concern. It is a trend that economic watchers say should not be allowed to continue. It is as much of an issue to consumers as it is the producers and other stakeholders that create value in the economy. Hence, the call for an urgent review of the current foreign exchange policy. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
We now return to the story on the visit of the First Lady of Ondo State to Futa. Of course, it was a collaborative visit. The governor's wife, during the visit to the Vice Chancellor of the institution, Professor Adenike Oladiji, applauded the institution's partnership with the BIMO initiative. Omorin Olawungbeji reports that the visit of the governor's wife to the current Futa leadership is the first since the Vice Chancellor assumed office.
The governor's wife, Mrs. Betty Ayanwu-Akeredolu was accompanied by representatives of her various initiatives, including Breast Cancer Association of Nigeria, BRECAN, Foundation for Wives of Ondo State Officials, FOWOSO, Be More Empowerment Girls, Betty Ayanwu-Akeredolu Foundation, BAF, and the Arabian Junior Tennis Club. Mrs. Ayanwu-Akeredolu lauded FUTA's support for the Be More initiative, which she said was established to bridge the gap in science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and entrepreneurship, coded STEAM. According to her, the initiative connects girls with contacts that will better their future and society at large.
Now we're expanding our tentacles to the south, to other senatorial districts. We're going to south, Okitipupa on Monday. We're opening that of Okitipupa, then to the north the following week, so that children from those senatorial districts can also partake. It won't be easy for everybody to come to Akure, so now children in other senatorial districts will also enjoy what the kids in Akure have been enjoying in the past 4 years.
While congratulating the FUTA head on her appointment as the first vice-chancellor of the institution, Mrs. Ayanwu-Akeredolu sought robust relationship to keep the program alive.
In any occasion, we try to bring them on board to say that you are not forgotten. We value your contribution, and experience, helps a lot in continuity. So, Mr. Adeyemi, we are happy to have you. When we learn about your appointment, who were elected, you made a history as the first female vice chancellor of this great university. It was worthy of celebration, and congratulations.
The FUTA VC, Professor Adenike Oladiji, commended the governor's wife for the initiatives which she said would positively influence the lives of beneficiaries. She pledged support for the program, including promoting girl child education in Nigeria.
I chose to support the girl child in this campaign of the Be More Empowered Girls Foundation, an initiative of the First Lady of Ondo State, Chief Betty Ayanwu-Akeredolu, to train and empower our girls in ICT, solar and other life-enhancing skills. Let us build technology leaders of tomorrow. Join us to show that our girls matter.
The visit also featured the usual Tropilu exercise, seeking support of the educational institution for the success of this year's Be More Summer Boot Camp. Omoriola Humbiji, Osrc News.
The federal government says it has secured over 1,000 convictions on terrorism-related cases from March last year to May this year. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, at the 46th session of the State House briefing in Abuja, said convictions have also been secured in 45 cases by the Complex Case Work Group, Maritime Unit, and the Special Task Force on Electricity Offences, and across the 13 zonal offices of the ministry. He noted that the ministry, through the CCG unit, is coordinating the next phase of terrorism-related trials in collaboration with the Federal High Court, the Legal Aid Council, and the Defense Headquarters. The AGF also explained that the Ministry of Justice has successfully processed over 350 mutual legal assistance and 50 extradition requests, including the extradition proceedings against suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari from the United States of America. And moving to the foreign scene, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Rwanda for the last stop of a tour that included a visit to neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo. Blinken was in Kinshasa on Tuesday, where he said he was concerned about reports that Rwanda has been supporting the M23 rebel group in the DRC. The resurgence of the M23 group in Congo's restive east has heightened tensions between the neighbors. Omoremi Okumola reports.
An armed group calling itself M23 has been advancing to Goma in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Its rebels had been fighting the Congolese army for about 2 months. UN experts say they have evidence Rwanda is backing the rebels. The Rwandan government has denied this. Hundreds of people in some areas have fled from their homes in recent days.
We were displaced after M23 captured our village. We are afraid of them. When they are fighting, they do not differentiate between soldiers and civilians. We do not want to die here.
This latest conflict is just one of many in the east of the country. So when U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited Kinshasa, security matters dominated the talks.
We are very concerned by credible reports that Rwanda has provided support to M23. We call on all parties in the region to stop any support for cooperation with M23.
He is also due to hold talks with Rwandan President Paul Kagame. Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda have had years of tensions, with both sides accusing each other for funding rebellions.
In reality, the US was the first country to be concerned about Rwanda's support for M23.
Angola has been trying to broker peace between the two countries, but a recent peace deal did not calm things. Blinken will complete his 3-nation tour today. He also visited South Africa. Analysts say the US wants to increase diplomacy to counter Russia's growing influence on the African continent. Omoremi Ogumola, OSRC News.
Moving to sports, Rufus Giwa Football Club has defeated Wolfpack Football Club by 2-1 in the opening match of the Bet Niger Ondo State Football League. The youthful students dictated the pace all through and deservedly won at the Rufus Giwa Polytechnic Sports Complex in Owo. More than 70 clubs are taking part in the competition. In the matches decided today, Optimum FC defeated Shagari United 1-0 in Owo, while Odomode and Kalakata football clubs played a goalless draw in Ikare. Two-time runners-up Nigeria's Super Falconets take on France in their first match at the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in Costa Rica. Nigeria, who lost narrowly to Spain in the quarter-final 4 years ago, are banking on the experience of Captain Oluwatosin Dimeyin, Esther Onyenezida, Deborah Abiodun, and Adu Ina at the tournament. In yesterday's opening tie, Colombia defeated Germany 1-0, while New Zealand and Mexico played out a 1-1 draw. Kickoff time of the Nigeria-France game is midnight. To end the news at 7, another look at the major stories. The governor of Ondo State, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, has expressed relief over the release of a kidnapped expatriate working with Queenberg Construction Company in Owo. Ondo State's House of Assembly has confirmed the appointment of Amidou Takuro as a commissioner. The federal government says it has secured conviction of over 1,000 terrorists between March last year and May this year. And from the foreign scene, we told you that the United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken has visited Kigali to settle the growing tensions between Rwanda and neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo. That's it on the news at 7. Thank you for being a part of it. Good evening.